Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Logic Medico. Today's topic for presentation is medical terms used in head. So let's see what are the medical terms and their meaning and the context where they are used. Kindly subscribe to my channel if you are not yet done and completely to understand all the concepts. So first term here is cephalo. So what is this word cephalo means? So cephalo refers to this, what is the head. Okay, so anything which refers to cephalo, cephalic, it means it's closer to the head. So usually it is used in intrauterine life for pediatric, but can also be used in adults as well. Anything which is cephalic. What is encephalo? En means within. So what is within the head? So brain. So sometimes encephalon, prosencephalon, forebrain, mesencephalon, midbrain, rhombencephalon, hindbrain is used. Encephalo refers to the brain because within the head is brain. Next term is cranio. So cranio refers to this. What is this? Skull. Okay. So cranio refers to skull. Sometimes the cephalo and cranial are used synonymously because all that cephalo means is head, which includes the skull also. No? So therefore cranio and cephalo are used synonymously or in similar context. Okay. So skull, cranio actually means the skull. Tricho. Tricho refers to this hair. So this hair is more abundant on the scalp. It is present elsewhere in the body except the palm of the hand and the sole of the feet. Okay. Hypertrichosis is a condition in which there is too much of hair on the pinna. It is a Y-linked inheritance. Next, scalp. This area of soft tissue covering the skull is called as scalp. Okay. Next, frontal. Just read the first 5 alphabets of this frontal. You'll know the answer. So it refers to the front of the head. It's frontal. So the bone over here will be called as frontal bone. All these terms are Greek and Latin terms. Okay, it's not English. So this occipital refers to this area. So this area is the back of the skull. Anything related to the back of skull we call it as occipital. Next, external occipital protuberance. This area is called external occipital protuberance. So protuberance means a projection, something which protrudes. External means on the outer aspect. Occipital means on the back of the skull. So external means on the outer aspect. So what is this full meaning of external occipital protuberance? Means on the outer aspect of the back of the skull there is one projection which protrudes. So that is called like this, external occipital protuberance. Next, nuchal line. Nuchal refers to neck. On either side of the external occipital protuberance there are two nuchal lines, the right and the left nuchal line, superior and inferior nuchal line, above and below. So nuchal means nape of the neck. Foramen magnum. Can you see this big foramen in the skull? Great foramen in the skull, or the largest foramen in the skull is called foramen magnum, through which medulla oblongata comes out. The vertebral artery enters the brain, enters the cranial cavity, and there will be meninges. Anterior spinal artery descends down, and spinal accessory now also enters. So foramen magnum is largest foramen. This foramen on the neighborhood of the foramen magnum is called jugular foramen. So jugular foramen because internal jugular vein will go. But what is jugular? Jugular means neck, because this vein is the largest vein in the neck. It's a huge vein in the neck. It's called jugular vein. If it is deep to the sternocleidomastoid, it's called internal jugular vein. If it is next to the skin, that is on the outer aspect of sternocleidomastoid, it's called as external jugular vein. What is the sphenoid? This is the body of sphenoid. It's a greater wing. This big one, greater wing. It's a lesser wing. This tiny projection is a lesser wing. It appears like a butterfly, right? So this is actually wedged between the frontal bone and the occipital bone. Frontal bone anteriorly, occipital bone posteriorly. So sphenoid. Please remember, oid means like. For example, cuboid means something like a cube. So oid means like. So this bone is wedge like because it is wedged between frontal and occipital bone. Okay. Next, pterygoid. The same sphenoid bone, lower down, it has got one more wing-like projection. It's called pterygoid. Pterygo refers to wing. Oid means like. So it's a wing-like projection. Next, coming to the ethmoid. This area in the anterior part of the skull, there is one bone not clearly visible now. So it will be visible here. It's like a sieve. Like multiple holes are there in this. So it's a sieve like. Ethmo means sieve. Oid means like. Sieve like. So any meshwork like thing you have seen like this, multiple holes will be there. It is through this sieve like portion of the ethmoid bone, cribriform plate of ethmoid bone, through which olfactory nerve, the nerve of smell, passes into the skull and reaches the brain. Next, coming to the parietal. So you can see the inside of the cranial cavity. So something should cover this, the wall of this. So parietal means actually the wall. See, it forms a wall, parietal. So it forms the wall of the cavity. The cavity in this area is called cranial cavity, which bounds the brain, which encloses the brain. So parietal means the wall. Temporal, it's very easy, this area. So this is called the temple area or the temporal area, near the temples of the head. This area, temple area. Okay. So what is squamous in the temporal bone? There is one thin plate, flat plate of bone. It's called as squamous part of the temporal bone. It's called flat. Next, petrous. Within the temporal bone, there is one huge triangular projection. It is actually the rock solid. It will be. So temporal petrous. Petrous actually means rock solid. Why it will be rock solid? It is the hardest bone in the body, in the whole body. It's the strongest bone in the whole body, because within which encloses the organ of hearing and equilibrium. See how beautiful this diagram is. This is the cochlea, this is the vestibule, and these three perpendicular to one another are semicircular canal. So this triangular piece of bone is called as temporal bone, petrous part of temporal bone, because it is rock solid. We call it like that. External auditory meatus. So this hole you can see, through which you can hear. Ear will pass through this, sound vibrations will pass through this. So this meatus is like a passage. Okay, through this passage, it's on the outer aspect. So it's on the outer aspect wherein auditory information will pass. That's why it's called external auditory meatus. This area. Okay. Next, coming to the mastoid process. So in the temporal bone, just behind this auricle or the external auditory canal, there is one conical projection. Can you see this conical projection? So that conical projection is called mastoid. As already told, oid means like. So masto means breast. So it is like a breast-like projection. That's what's called mastoid process of temporal bone. Next, coming to the styloid process of temporal bone. This projection you can see like a pen nib. So now, just beneath the external auditory canal and deep to it. It's called pen-like projection. It's called a styloid process of the temporal bone. Next, coming to the maxilla. This, you can see here, this jaw is there, no? So maxilla means jaw. It's actually a fixed jaw. It's the upper jaw. So maxilla means a jaw, which is a fixed jaw, and it is upper jaw. Mandible, on the other hand, this lower one you can see. That is mandible. Mandible actually means to chew. So this jaw will move across the temporal bone by a joint called temporomandibular joint. So it will move across this and causes a movement called chewing or mastication. Therefore mandible. Mandible in Greek and Latin means to chew. It is nothing but the lower jaw. Okay. Next, coming to the zygomatic bone. What is the zygomatic bone? The prominence of the cheek is formed by this bone. So zygoma means actually a prominent part of the cheek. So over here there is a bone that's called zygomatic bone or the cheek bone. Zygosis also refers to fusion. So what happens is maxilla, upper jaw is there, and temporal bone is there, and frontal bone is there. So this bone, zygomatic bone, joins these three bones together, which are the maxilla, frontal and temporal. So zygoma also refers to join or glue. Come to the next term, nasal. So this bone you can see here, it's a nasal bone. So this is the nose. So anything referring to the nose is called as nasal. There is one common wall between the two nostrils. It's called the nasal septum. Common wall is there. So that is nasal septum, because it's a septum. It's a wall between the two nasal cavities or the nose cavities. Next, omer. This is the nasal septum I was talking of. The cartilage within that is called septal cartilage. Can you see this bone? It resembles anything? It resembles a plow, okay, or a wedge, like a pastry or a piece of cake. It appears, no? So wedge shape or plow shape. It's called omer. It is the bone present only in the nasal septum. It is anchored to the sphenoid bone. Next, coming to lacrimal. There is one gland here in the orbit. It's called lacrimal gland. Okay, then there will be ducts come through conjunctiva. It will come into the lacrimal sac on the medial side, ends into the nose by nasolacrimal duct. So lacrimal means tear. So a gland producing tear will be called as lacrimal gland. So lacrimal means tear. Palatine, this area you can see in the roof of the oral cavity, that is the area. So nothing but palate, anything referring to the palate is called palatine. Palatine nerve, greater palatine, lesser palatine, big artery, small artery, greater palatine artery, lesser palatine artery. So that is palate. Concha, these shelf-like projection from the lateral wall of the nasal cavity is called as concha. These shelves are not horizontal, but they are like a scroll. So actually concha means scroll-like or shelf-like projections from the lateral wall of nasal cavity. Below each concha there is a space called as meatus. So meatus means space. Let's come to the interesting aspect. So here, when we are born, we are born with some membranes in our skull. They are called as fontanelle. So when someone palpates our skull, it appears like there are muscles, there are tiny bones, frontal, parietal, and occipital. Between the muscles there is a skin. So that's actually true. Fontanelle means a thin membranous area between the bony areas. Diminutive of fontaine, that is the other meaning of that. Later on, after you start, the brain continues to grow up to 2 years of postnatal life. This thin piece of membrane will allow that to grow. After that it will get diminished, right? After that it gets obliterated or covered by bone. That's why it's called fontanelle, meaning diminutive of fontaine. Coming to sutures. So you might have heard sutures. See, these are the sutures in the skull. So what exactly suture means? Suture means sieve. So what is a sieve? It's a stitch or a row of stitches. You can see it's not just a simple stitch, it's a row of stitches which is holding together the bones, or even the wound also we use a similar word when we take one stitch and connect the two edges of the wound. So that is also called a suture. Here naturally available suture is present in the skull, which connects the edges of the bone to hold on to one another. So that's a fibrous joint, but it's termed as suture. Now the sagittal suture. This sagittal, which is present in the midline. A plane passing through this will divide the body into two equal halves, the right and the left half of the body. So this suture is sagittal. It appears like something. Okay, if you got a guessed arrow, then it's correct. Sagittal means arrow. It resembles one arrow. Okay, you're putting it from behind like that. See, this appears like an arrow. So denoting the suture on the top of the skull, I just now told you, in the midline, it divides the body into two equal halves if you pass one plane through this. That's sagittal. Whereas coronal, this is coronal actually. So coronal means crown. Actually, where you will put the crown? In this area. So that's why coronal. This suture is called coronal suture, and the plane passing through this divides the body into two unequal halves, an anterior half and the posterior half. Anterior half definitely is not similar to posterior half, therefore it is unequal. So it's a transversely oriented suture connecting between the frontal and the two parietal bones. That's a description. Now the lambdoid. Already I told oid means what? Lambdoid. Oid means like. For example, cuboid, like a cube. Trapezoid, like a trapezium. So lambda means, you would already guessed, so like a lambda. So it resembles a Greek letter called lambda. This suture is on the back of the skull. It's called lambdoid. Sometimes what happens, an additional bone is present between these sutures. You may quote here, it is there actually. So when the ossification starts from one bone and also from other bone, it should ossify completely, but some tiny islands of bones are left over within the sutures. Such kind of bones are called as sutural bones or supernumerary bones or accessory bones. Sometimes what happens when you take an X-ray, if we see some gap like this, some island of bone after the person, especially if it met with some road traffic accident, we feel that there is a fracture in the skull, but actually there is no fracture. There is an extra island of bone like this. They are called as sutural bones because they are present within the suture. They are also called as supernumerary bones. How many bones we have? 206. This is extra. So supernumerary bone or accessory bones, meaning extra bones. So we should be aware of certain things like that to avoid unnecessary treatment aspect. Okay. If any other doubt is there with respect to any other aspects, you can put it in the comment section. I am ready to solve that. Okay. That's all for today. Like and share this video to your family and friends. Subscribe to my channel and press the bell button if you have not already done that. Thank you once again.